Now on any of these problems that we're doing with parabolas, you are more than welcome to pause the video and try these out on your own. I'm going to get you started on this next one, but then I encourage you to work faster than I am. You can just let me play in the background and listen and then rewind as you need to. You might not even need me to get you started on this one, but I'm going to anyway, just in case. So we have y plus 1 quantity squared equals -4 times x minus 2. Now we've always said vertex form first. My y term is, or my y variable, my y term is going to be the one that's squared. So this is going to open horizontally. So this is one of our new ones. It's opening horizontally. So that's one expectation I should have. I am going to try and get x all by itself. So I'm going to try and get this x term all by itself. I'm going to multiply both sides by -1/4. So I've got -1/4 times the quantity y plus 1 squared. And now I've got equals x minus 2. Now if I want to solve for x, I just add 2 to both sides. So x equals -1/4 y plus 1 quantity squared plus 2. I've got a equals -1/4. That means we're opening to the left, and it's going to be wide because of that 1/4, so it's not going to be normal. And then we've got h is equal to +2, while k is equal to -1. So our vertex is going to be 2, -1. So we'll go right 2, down 1. There's our vertex. I'm going to draw a horizontal highlighted line going through the axis of symmetry. So the axis of symmetry is a horizontal line. It's y equals, and y equals -1. Then we're going to have our focus, our directrix, and our intercepts. But I want to get started real quick on just kind of graphing this. So I've got x equals -1/4. So I'm going to go up 1, and then I'm going to go slightly left 1/4. Then I'm going to go up 1, and I'm going to go 3/4. Let's make sure that that works. So I've got a 1 for y. Let's put a 1 in for y. So 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 squared is 4. -1/4 times 4 is -1. -1 plus 2 is 1. So yep, when y is 1, x is 1. When y is -3, I'm also going to get an x equals 1. So that works. Now, remember, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 7, and so on and so forth. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. I'm going to multiply that by 1/4, and I get 1/4, 3/4, 5/4, 7/4. So let's see what we can do. Up 1, and now we're going to go right or left 5/4. So 5/4 is 1 1/4. Up 1, 1 1/4. Down 1, 1 1/4. Then I'm going to go up 1 again, and this time I'm going to go 7/4. So that's 1 3/4. So that's 3/4 and then another 1. And then reflect it over. And then up 1, and then 9/4. That's going to be 2 1/4. 1, 2 1/4. Down 1, 1, 2 1/4. So I think we've got enough to get a nice wide graph. Now, we've got our focus. Our focus, remember our focus, just our focal distance is equal to 1 over 4 times a. And a in this case was negative 1/4. So that's going to give me a negative 1. So that tells me left. Go to the vertex and go left 1. That's all the negative is telling us. So left 1 would put us at negative, positive 1, negative 1. So right 1 from the origin, right 1, down 1. The directrix is going to be that same distance of 1. So the distance is going to be the absolute value. So it's going to be a vertical going through x equals 3. And then we've got some intercepts to deal with. We've got 2 y-intercepts and we've got this x-intercept. So let's take it back. How do we find x and y-intercepts? Well, the x-intercept is the value of x when y is 0. So I'm going to go back to the original equation. 0 plus 1 squared equals negative 4 times x minus 2. So that's going to be 1 equals negative 4x plus 8. Subtract 8 and we get negative 7 equals negative 4x. X equals 7 over 4. So our x-intercept is 7/4, 0. That's 1 3/4, which is exactly where we're at. 1 3/4, 0, or 1.75, 0. Our y-intercepts are the values of y when x is 0. So we'll have y plus 1, this is our y-intercept. Y plus 1 equals negative 4 times 0 minus 2. That's squared. Y plus 1 quantity squared equals 8. We're going to square root both sides and we're going to get a plus or minus. Y plus 1 equals plus or minus the square root of 8. So our y-intercepts are going to be 1 plus or minus the square root of 8. So we'll have 1 plus the square root of 8, 0. And we will have 1 minus the square root of 8, 0. Negative 1. So sorry, negative 1. When we subtract that 1 over, we get negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 8. Now, you might see this as negative 1 plus 2 times the square root of 2, 0. Negative 1 minus 2 square root of 2, 0. These are exact values. I have complete faith that you can put the square root of 8 into your calculator and you can calculate negative 1 plus the square root of 8 and get a decimal, negative 1 minus the square root of 8, get a decimal, but I think this is the more uncommon, the less common way of seeing your x-intercept in exact form, so that's why I wanted to include that for you. If you did use a calculator though, you would have gotten, let's just check your answers, you would have gotten, and I'm gonna have to go back and fix this. And I'm gonna go right back to the negative 1 part, this way I can make this a nice clean video. But just in case I don't do that, let me just tell you, this should have been 0, these are backwards. Because these are your y-intercepts, not your x-intercepts. I'm going to try and make this clean though. So I'm going to go back to that right